Many of us know that buying stocks makes money when prices go up, but did you know we can also make money when prices go down? In this video, I'm going to explain how shorting works and how you have the opportunity to make money whether the price moves up or down. So for the purpose of this example, let's first go over how buying a stock works. So here's me and you, and let's say Apple comes out with a new iPhone, and you want it, I want it, everybody wants it. But there's only limited quantities available, and I was fortunate enough to get my hands on one for the retail price of $1,000. So I paid the $1,000, and now I own the new iPhone. But now they're all sold out, and you really wanted it too. So I offer it to you for $1,200, and you agree to pay me the $1,200 because you think you can sell it for $1,400. So I sell you the iPhone, which nets me $200, and now you have it to sell, hopefully to a higher bidder. Pretty simple, right? Buy now, sell higher. Alright, so here's how shorting a stock works. In this scenario, you own the iPhone, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to borrow your iPhone. So now I have an iPhone, and I owe you an iPhone. But what do I do with it? I sell it on eBay for its current market price of $1,000. But wait a minute, what about your iPhone, right? Well, the very next day, Apple decides to release the next iPhone. And because of that, the value of your iPhone goes down to $800. So all I need to do, because I owe you an iPhone, is go back into eBay, into the marketplace, to purchase it back for $800, netting me that same $200. So all that's left to do now is, because I borrowed it from you, is I return the iPhone back to you to cover what I borrowed, netting me that same $200, whether the value of the iPhone goes up or down. So that's how shorting works. Now, when you're actually shorting a stock, instead of an iPhone, you're borrowing the shares of that stock, right? But let's say the price doesn't drop, but goes up instead. Then I would have to buy back at a higher price for a loss, because no matter how the stock is doing, I still have those shares that I owe. So you may hear some people say shorting is more risky because when you're buying a stock, the lowest it can go to is zero, so there's a cap to your loss. But when shorting a stock, in theory, the price can go up to infinity, making your risk infinite, right? An example of this would be GameStop. With the gaming industry starting to move everything to digital downloads, there was no need to go out to a brick and mortar anymore to buy games, making GameStop obsolete. Exactly what happened to Blockbuster when Netflix was on the rise. So for that reason, GameStop was a heavily shorted stock. But Wall Street Bets had other plans. They got enough people to start buying the stock, and the prices began to skyrocket. This put pressure on the short sellers, especially because prices were moving against them at such a fast rate, forcing them to buy back those shares at higher prices. So now as they start buying to cover their short positions, this causes the price to move up even more, and as it catches news, people start to jump on the hype train, which generates even more buying, throwing more fuel into the fire, and putting even more pressure on those who are still short. This is what we call a short squeeze. The buyers are squeezing the shorts out of their positions, and that's exactly what happened to GameStop. The stock jumped from $17 to $483 in less than a month. And at the time, no one really knew how high this thing was going to go. So if you don't know how to take your stops, something like this can easily wipe you out. And on the flip side, if you've ever seen the movie The Big Short, Michael Burry, played by Christian Bale, was shorting the housing market because he saw a bubble. At the time, banks were giving out homes like candy on Halloween, so he was betting the housing market was going to crash. Hence the title, The Big Short. And of course he was right, making him and his investors $800 million. So the risk of going long or short is one and the same to us as professional traders, because we'll be out way before the price goes to zero or goes to infinity and beyond against us, okay? If you're finding value in this video so far, all I ask is you take a second of your time to hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed if you want more content like this one. Now, having said all that, it's not mandatory to know all of this to be able to short, because shorting is as easy as buying. When buying, you click buy, price moves up, you click sell, you make money. When shorting, You click short, price moves down. You click cover, you make money. Just keep in mind the function keys will vary depending on your platform, so make sure you're familiar with how your platform works. In real time, this all happens with the click of a button, but I do think it's important to know what's happening behind the scenes, because now if you ever get a pop-up message saying the stock is hard to borrow, meaning they don't have any shares for you to borrow at this time, you understand what they're talking about. Sometimes they can locate shares for you for an interest fee, which are usually at a pretty reasonable rate, but there are times it can get pretty expensive, so make sure you check those fees before locating shares. And one final thing you need to know is that you'll need a margin account to be able to short. Alright? So I hope this helped you understand how shorting works and now know it's possible to make money when prices go down. And as always, this is just for educational purposes only. Please do your own due diligence before doing any live trading. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I appreciate you for being here, and I hope to see you on the next one.